Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could say psych right now, but you might want to double clench your butt cheeks for this one because they are saying that President Trump might be the first president to do a full-on UFO disclosure. Is that even real? Well, let me tell you, it's complicated, okay? You don't have to like the video, you don't even have to subscribe. Let's get the shit show started. This is why you're here, man. You better get some. Shout out to News Nation, Ross Coulthard, and Lue Elizondo. Check this. Roll it.
Take care of that voice.
I will do, sir. I will do, sir. Now, this is a very important memo. The thing that leaps out at me about it, though, is what has the president done about it? What has been the response, if any? Do we know if President Trump received this memo directly?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. There are no guarantees in life, right, except for death and taxes. So I'm certainly not going to speak on behalf of the President of the United States. It is true in your assertion that the memo was sent. It was sent on behalf of myself. Whether or not the President has had time to read it or his staff, that's a question you'd have to ask him. I certainly wouldn't want to be presumptuous and try to answer for the boss in any way.
Right.
You know, my hope and desire is that someone in his administration in a position of authority had a chance to review it. I think it's also important, too, that it's basically just a general recommendation to find somebody out there that the president and the National Security Council can basically tag to be the point of contact for this issue. We are now seeing, Ross, a significant issue that drones are playing on the battlefield. In fact, there was a statistic recently released that over in the Ukraine, for the first time in warfare history, that there have been more casualties caused by drones than infantry and artillery combined. So think about that for a moment, right? We are now at a tipping point where the pervasiveness of certain technologies can be in the hands of just about anybody. And if you get on the internet, even this morning, I saw an article where drones were being used in prisons to distract guards and to attack and kill other individuals. So the technology.
Plus, like, AI is being pretty rampant, right? They're talking about the AI robots, that it's coming to get our asses, right? It's gonna be getting our jobs, and then it's gonna replace us. This, that, the other. Yeah, you know, CEOs are openly laughing about it. Some CEOs are saying that, bro, I tried to warn them, but they didn't listen, so therefore, you know, I have to compete. So I didn't want to, guys, but I gotta compete, right? So I'm gonna be accelerating the AI, the artificial intelligence growth, and we need to get the piece of the pie too. And we gotta also make our robots because they're not gonna stop. So therefore, we need to compete. If we don't compete, we left behind. So therefore, let's accelerate it and let's make it. Yeah, man, it's a clown show right now. So that's happening. They're saying within 2 years. Yeah, I made a video yesterday, right? So you got experts, Michio Kaku talking about it, Joe Rogan interviewing everybody, you know, Nvidia CEO went batshit crazy about it too. So yeah, it's like we're really living in a crazy timeline, and couple that up with the New Jersey drones. Some said that, whistleblowers said that, yep, it's not the real UFOs. It's basically reverse engineered stuff based off of the real UFOs, but it's still ours. You know, that's what we heard. And then the Trump's administration, after a long ass time, they did respond. They said that, yep, it's our drones, but they never really said anything more than that. So the conclusion, based off of everything we gathered, if it really feels like that, okay, yeah, the drones, at least the drones that are being spotted around the airports, maybe they are actually ours, but reverse engineered based off of the real UFO crap. At Lockheed, Skunk Works perhaps, or maybe China got their fingers on it. Maybe Russia was able to crack the code. But yeah, man, a crazy timeline, guys.
Technology is here, and the issues are now in front of us. And that was one of the things that really served as the impetus for me to write this memo in the first place.
Now, what's interesting, Lou, about this memo is that it's combining drones, human drones, and UAPs. Why did you do that? Why do you in the same memo?
Yeah, let's see.
Sure. Well, first of all, there's a lot of commonalities between the two, right? We don't know something. Everything is unidentified until it becomes identified. And that's true whether it's a Chinese spy balloon or it is a drone, as we saw in the recent New Jersey flap last year, or it is a UAP. And so you can think of this emerging all-domain technology as a large umbrella. And under that umbrella, there are these smaller little umbrellas that fit. And UAP are one of them, drones are another. And at the end of the day, we have to do a better job of understanding what is in our skies. Otherwise, what happens is what you have this last year where we have to shut down airports, restricted airspace, and we're having to move some of our very sensitive military equities to another location, simply because we do not have control and awareness of what's in our skies.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
And maybe that's the reason why the governments aren't really responding to it, because it would make them look weak, right? Yeah, we don't know what's in our skies, right? That would make them look weak. You definitely don't want China finding that out, and China certainly don't want America finding out if something like that happens, where they have to shut down the airports. So yeah, no, it is definitely batshit crazy, man. Like, that drones are showing up, and we just don't even know. We don't even know. Yeah, you and I can make assumptions. Yeah, whatever. It's whack. Some alien baddies right there. Maybe drunk aliens. Maybe it's them alien baddies just laughing at us. Maybe it's that. And some people would believe that, nah, bruh, whatever. It's just drones, reverse engineered tech, or maybe not even reverse engineered from UFOs. Maybe it's just us that made it. But they officially, they are acting, they're acting like they don't know. So yeah, they just shut down the airports because they don't know the source behind where the drones, alleged drones, are coming from. I mean, this one right here, bro, that, holy smokers, it ain't no dang jokers, man. That's certainly not a drone, bro. What the hell is that thing? So brother out here on his ski mobile, holy shit. I've never seen a balloon with this shape. It looks like a metallic organic life form. USA 2017, that's when it was captured. Shout out to J9, by the way. He put together like some of the most realistic cases of these UFOs, UAPs, orbs, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, nowadays you got UFOs, UAPs, plasmoids, orbs. Damn, man, we got a whole lot of variety.
Sir, do you think the president was correctly advised when, later in January, after your memo was sent to the president, Caroline Levitt, the president's spokeswoman, put out a statement saying the drones over New Jersey were FAA authorized drones? That's an extraordinary explanation that, frankly, doesn't wash with me. Does it wash with you? There is a drones mystery still.
Well, we already know that's not entirely accurate. But let me preface by saying I don't think this was the fault of Ms. Caroline Levitt. I think she was simply reporting what she was told, and at the time it probably seemed factual. But as we now know, that Senator Cory Booker himself from New Jersey had spoken to the FAA directly, and they told him absolutely not, that these were not all approved and authorized by the FAA. So herein lies the problem. We have this gigantic bureaucracy called the U.S. government with 3 separate branches, and within those 3 separate branches, countless amounts of agencies and organizations, and they don't always talk to each other in an efficient manner. And so you get this, if you will, this cross wires where information appears to be contradictory and is being provided to the public through the media, but it hasn't been fully vetted. And so again, I want to just make this clear. I don't think this is necessarily the fault of the administration. I think the administration is simply reporting what it was told.
They're just complicating for no dang reason, bro. Yeah, let everybody speak on it. This is the same crap that you heard from Bob Lazar decades and decades ago, and if to be believed, I believe he was being genuine. But Bob Lazar also mentioned the fact that when he was working at S4 Area 51, there were different compartments, different teams of people, team of 2 people working on different aspects surrounding the UFOs, right? And he had his partner, he was working, and the other team wasn't allowed to find out what they found. And no team, in fact, were allowed to communicate with one another, and no team was allowed to share progress with one another. And so yeah, that's not the reason was, and it's actually very smart, because if you want to control the information, you don't want the information out. It's very smart though, right? Because if somebody leaks the information, they would know exactly who leaked it, where it came from, and it would be easy to pinpoint the person that leaked it. But it just, hinders the progress, and it just doesn't help at all. I'm certain, like, Russia doing the same, China doing the same. So there's that aspect of arms race. Whoever gets to reverse engineer the UFO tech to the fullest is gonna be able to control, and it always has been about money, power, greed, control. That's what it's all about. What are you gonna do with all that control, man? Damn, man, like, yeah, I guess we're humans were more like that. Gotta have power, gotta have greed. It's all about power and greed, man. What the hell, bro?
At the time it was being told. But there is a larger issue here, and that is there's an overall dysfunction within the bureaucracy that does not allow, this is part of the problem, the president to get the information he needs or she needs when she needs it or when he needs it, with the fidelity that is required to make a good decision. You cannot make an informed decision without having all the facts. And the bottom line here is the administration was not and still is not receiving all the facts. And so by creating a position, a single, if you will, belly button for the president to reach out to and not get a response or reply in a week or 4 or 5 days, but within 5 minutes. Hey, what's going on? We're picking something up on radar. Get a hold of NORAD. Get a hold of the FAA. Let's find out what these things are. Do they pose a threat? What is their trajectory? What is their source of origination? So we can get a better handle of what's in our skies. Let's not forget that it was during 9/11. That we suffered a catastrophic consequence of dysfunction within our government's bureaucracy. You had pockets of information residing within the CIA and the FBI and even the Department of Defense, and that information was not being shared with the relevant authorities. So we had an incomplete picture of our what we call air domain awareness, or what's in our skies. And the result of that, I don't need to rehash here, but the results of that were quite obvious. And yet here we are now, 27 years later, and we still don't know what's in our skies.
It's been 80 years, man. I mean, he right though, but it's been more than 80 years. And guys, disclosure is coming. It's coming any second now. Yeah, next month. In the next 2 weeks, I promise you, we're gonna have the disclosure. Then it becomes another year. Gotta wait 2 more years. It's happening, guys. It's happening. It's been 80 damn years, bro. And now the new narrative is that the 2027. That's when we're gonna hear it. That has been the narrative for a while, where you had one of the ex-CIA saying that. You also had Jeremy Corbell also said the fact that that's what he heard from sources. But then later on, he clarified that that's not his opinion, but that's something that he heard from his sources. Which, okay, yeah, if that's true, that's true. We're gonna find out really quickly though. Before I forget, I gotta take a second to shout out all of you guys out there for all the love on the channel, man. Especially the homie Ron, John Flores, the homie BC Lilith for becoming brand new members on the channel, and the homie Quick, Cody, the homie Chris, man, that you son of a gun, man. Robert, Ruru, thank you so much for all the love on the channel. You liking the videos, you subscribing, super thanks, tips, and all that. Even when you know you don't have to, while knowing you don't have to. Thank you so much for all the love, man. Alright, let's get back to the content here. Boo. I want to show you guys like this specific part. I actually marked down the timestamp here. It was 27:25. Okay, let's play from right here. Go backwards 5 seconds. Yeah.
Can I ask you this? Do you think the Trump administration, Donald Trump, is thinking about disclosure?
Well, I hear what you hear and everybody else, that he's contemplating it, that he's been told about it, but I also want to be realistic here. Yes, there's a tremendous opportunity here for our president to be the first sitting president to say, yes, this is real and this is a problem. But there's also a tremendous amount of risk. Because if it turns out that there is some sort of foreign adversarial involvement behind this, there's some sort of new type of stealth reconnaissance capability, let's say that country X developed or something like that, and we go out on a limb and say that these things are all because of this, and it turns out they're actually because of that, then that's a risk as well, and that can actually be used to discredit you and to hurt your efforts. So the president, all presidents, have to be, and this is why they have so many advisors, they have to weigh the pros and cons of what they say publicly. Now, this particular president, I think most people can agree, whether you agree with his politics or not, he is not afraid to say what he feels. And so from that perspective, I think it's very refreshing. I think all presidents should say how they feel.
Right.
The question is, what does he actually feel about this topic? Sometimes when he's been asked in the past, he has said, I personally don't believe it. I don't think there's much to see there. And other times he's turned around and said, actually, you know what? I've received some briefings. Pretty interesting. We should take it seriously. But again, that's a question you would need to ask to the president himself. I certainly would not want to be in any type of position to presume what our president, Donald Trump, knows about this topic.
I'll go a little bit into the danger zone, Lou, and I know you can't, but I'm told Donald Trump was given a limited briefing by a mutual friend of ours, who I won't name. The president, I'm told, is aware of the US's knowledge of a non-human intelligence. Do you want to contradict me on that?
How? What?
No comment.
Say.
Hey, yo! Like I said, I would never pretend to speak with the authority for the president of the United States. It's certainly a good question, but that's a question that I would probably...
honestly, man, if Trump don't do the UFO disclosure, then it seems very, very hard. Like, I don't know who will be the one that would disclose the truth, right? I certainly don't think Putin is gonna be doing the UFO disclosure. I don't think he will do that. I also don't think China is gonna do that, right? Who's gonna do it? Yeah, it seems like that. It might be America, man. Why it gotta be always America, right? Damn it, bro. Like, but America gotta do it, bro. America gotta do it. America always do. You know, it's the world police, man. So America gotta do it, man. But no, it's insane to me if the reason they're not releasing the truth is because they don't want China getting ahead, Russia getting ahead, and other countries getting ahead, that's insane to me, bro. Why can't we work together on this? You know, because when you think about it. We do have, you know, these are the core pillars. Family is a unifier. Family unites people. But family can only unite you to your family, not necessarily globally, right? Then it's your country, right? Like, country, patriotism, nationalism, right? It unites you. But it's only limited to the country. And not everybody's gonna feel super patriotic about it, right? But then it's the religion factor. And the religion factor is the biggest one. By the way, I'm religious myself, but let's be objective here, right? Religion does unite people to the fullest, to the max, okay? Either you're with it or you're against it, that's it, right? But religion is the biggest one. And I guess that's what they always say, the last card, right? Project Blue Balls, Project Blue Beam, the last card that they will use to unite everybody will be the fake alien invasion. So yeah, are we gonna have that ever? I don't know, man. I really got no idea on that one. But no, man, it's something to think about, man. It's something to think about.
Table for later, and maybe ask him directly if you have that opportunity.
Right, but one of the things that frustrates me, and I saw there was an opportunity for Marco Rubio to be questioned about this the other day when he went on Fox News and spoke, I think, to Sean Hannity. Marco Rubio, of course, as well as being the Secretary of State, he's the acting National Security Advisor. Wouldn't it be a perfectly normal thing for the National Security Advisor to have been read in to something as significant as the legacy UAP retrieval reverse engineering program by now?
Well, one would certainly hope so, and if I know Marco Rubio well enough, he has certainly demanded that and asked for that already, and may have very well received that. But again, Marco Rubio is a very shrewd politician and now a leader for our nation in the executive branch, and he has a tremendous amount of responsibility. So I'm sure Secretary Rubio is handling this topic like he did before with a great deal of seriousness, but is probably going to hold his cards a little close to his chest until he figures out what the boss wants to do about this topic. You know, when you serve at the will of the president, you have to make sure that your messaging is consistent with the president's wills and desires. And you don't ever want to get too far ahead of the headlights from what the boss is saying or what they're feeling, because then you run the risk of saying something that may not turn out to be in the direction that the administration wants to take.
Oh, okay.
My journalist colleague Michael Schellenberger wrote a piece last week where he ended a story talking about the claims that Marco Rubio had made in the Age of Disclosure film, where essentially, he's basically concurring with the idea that the US has recovered alien tech and that they've given it to private military contractors. He then, of course, in a subsequent interview has said all he was doing was quoting authoritative people who'd spoken to him. But I did think it was significant that at the end of the Schellenberg article, an unnamed Rubio advisor said, quote, "We're headed towards massive disclosure."
Ooh, love that.
That wouldn't have...
I do love the sound of that, but man, we've heard that for how many decades? I don't know, man. We've heard that, yeah, man. It's like, bro, I've been hearing that since I was a kid, that UFO disclosure happening, and now I'm becoming like a lot of... I'm seeing myself become a little bit pessimistic about the idea about the disclosure. I certainly want the disclosure, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm a believer that we're not alone. Mathematically speaking, it's just impossible for us to be alone. Religiously speaking, it's just impossible for us to be alone too, right? Not every religion believes that, obviously, but there are a lot of religions do believe in the fact that there is more to life, and there is, God has created not just us, but other life forms as well. So religiously, I believe it. Mathematically, I believe it. Do you believe it? That's up to you, right? Everybody got their beliefs. Everybody got their beliefs, right? Everybody got their moral values. Everybody got their faith, and that's perfect. That's beautiful, right? That's beautiful. So if you believe it, you believe it. You don't believe it, you simply don't believe it, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe you need evidence to change your mind, which is very respectable. That's respectable because the claims are extraordinary, and extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But forgetting the religion part here, just mathematically speaking, it's just impossible. If what they tell us is true, that there are billions of galaxies, billions of planets around, within each galaxy, billions of planets, it's just impossible, mathematically speaking, impossible for us to be alone. On our planet here, bro, we got so many different races of people, so many different ethnicity, right? Like, we all look different, and so many 8 billion of us, bro. And then you got the sea life, marine life. There are 6,000 different bees I heard about too. You got different breeds of cats, dogs. You got so many different animals, right? So that's life. I mean, that is life. So it's just impossible. It's mathematically impossible. So, and obviously Hollywood has also conditioned us to the max that we're not alone, but Hollywood always portrayed the aliens as like the bad guys, right? And you got Dr. Stephen Greer on the other hand saying that they're the good guys, you know. So he always pushes the narrative of, hey, they're the good guys, and his point is that actually seems very, I mean, yeah, like if they were bad, they would have already invaded us. But then you also have like other whistleblowers saying that some of them are good, some of them are bad, which kind of makes sense, right? Simply put, just like us humans, right? Some of us are good, some of us are bad, right? So yeah, I suspect that they might be similar, but that's my human brain thinking that. So yeah, an alien brain probably gonna function differently than us, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a fascinating topic, man. I love talking about it. You probably hear it. If you're here, you love hearing about it, and you love thinking about it too. Cause yeah, right? Like, you're going to work, paying taxes, and then just piecing out. That can't be it. There's gotta be more to life, bro.
Have been done without authorization from Marco Rubio, more likely than not, would it? Headed towards massive disclosure. That wouldn't have been done without authorization from Marco Rubio, more likely than not, would it?
Yes, whether officially or unofficially. I've been in meetings myself at the Pentagon or at CIA where a decision is made, but you don't necessarily have the person sitting at the head of the table barking out an order. It's just understood by all that that was the intent of the boss, and we execute accordingly. So I think whoever this individual was speaking to the journalist, Mr. Schellenberger, was probably providing information that he or she had access to during one or several meetings with Secretary Rubio. Mm-hmm. Look, there's no denying we've got a problem on our hands, Ross. And we can whitewash it all day long, and we can pretend it's not there. All it's going to do is erode more of the faith and confidence of the American people, because people know it's real. In fact, I've had members of Congress tell me that they've had their own UAP experience, and I'm not going to say who they are, and they are not willing to come out publicly with it because they're politicians, right? They want to be reelected, and they don't want to come across as seeming to be fringe or anything like that. But I've had several members of Congress themselves reveal to me personally that they've had their own UAP experience and that they are very concerned about this topic. But they don't.
It is true that, like, back in the days, though, if you were to believe in this phenomenon, you would be considered as loco, like, "Ay, gone loco, send them to mental asylum." But now it's pretty normal to talk about it, right? It's so normal that you got Anna Paulina Luna, U.S. Congress, Marco Rubio as well. The government is talking about it. But I still suspect that there's gotta be people out there that just don't want to believe it because they don't want to believe it, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, there's gotta be people out there that would think that you crazy if you believe that there can be potentially life outside of this planet, right? Yeah, no, it's kind of wild. So it says, like NASA, SpaceX changes cameras when a UFO appears. Ooh, so this is supposedly, I mean, you got videos like these too from the International Space Station. NASA, bro, I swear to God, man, never a straight answer. Did you see this video though? If you haven't seen it, check it out and I'll see you right there. Some insane UFO sighting was also captured in this one, a latest sighting. Check it out and I'll see you there.